Hello, my name is Kevin Beaver, and I'm an independent information security consultant with Atlanta-based Principal Logic. I specialize in performing security assessments such as vulnerability and penetration testing, as well as security program reviews, and I also serve as a virtual CISO for many of my clients. I've written several books and over 1,000 articles on information security, which are linkable from my website. In over 3 decades working in the industry, I've seen the good, the bad, and the downright ugly as it relates to security threats, vulnerabilities, and their resulting impact on all types of businesses. Today, we're going to talk about phishing, the challenges it's creating, and what you can do about it. Phishing is arguably the greatest threat to your business and your information assets. It doesn't matter if you're a small business or a large enterprise, the threat, the vulnerabilities, and the resulting risks are just the same. You can even have the greatest technologies and the best IT program in the world, but reality is showing us that those two things don't really matter. They really don't count as much as people would like to hope. Anytime your employees are involved with computers and making security decisions in their day-to-day work, and that happens with all organizations across the board, the risk is there. From stolen login credentials to the installation of malware to the wiring of money to criminals not even affiliated with your business, the impact can be great if you're not prepared. The most difficult aspect of phishing you have to deal with as a business owner or IT professional is the reality that criminal hackers are working against you around the clock, 24/7, all year long. So time is not on your side. The reality with phishing is that the threat will remain. It's never going to go away. Given that, it's up to you to take reasonable steps to know what you're up against so that you can do something about it. Let me share with you one critical step you can take to put to work immediately and start minimizing phishing-related risks in your business. Ayn Rand, the author of Atlas Shrugged, once said, "The hardest thing to explain is the glaringly evident which everybody had decided not to see." There's a universal law that affects IT and information security, and it's that you absolutely, positively cannot secure the things that you don't acknowledge. Many people are simply unaware of where their business stands in terms of risks, or they assume that their business is not at risk at all. However, in reality, there are many things on the average network that are facilitating risks brought about by phishing. Things like improperly configured workstations without proven anti-malware protection, software updates that are missing, a lack of web content filtering, critical files that haven't yet been backed up, and of course, gullible and expedient users who aren't thinking before they're clicking. These things apply to every organization across the board, both large and small, including your organization. So you must do what's in your power to take reasonable steps and understand exactly where you're vulnerable. Your people, your business processes, and your technical controls, they all represent potential avenues for exploitation. And again, it's up to you to find out where you're weak and where the opportunities lie in order to minimize the threats that phishing is bringing about, and especially its impact to your business. So how do you find out where you're weak so that you can understand the impact to the business? Well, you can approach it in one of two ways. First, you can assess your own risks. Maybe you have experience evaluating information security risks, or you have an IT or security team with expertise in this area. Hightower Risk has a self-assessment questionnaire that you can use to perform this exercise. That's a great place to start. Or, number two, you can bring in an independent expert who specializes in performing security assessments, similar to a radiologist who knows how to look for issues in the human body, or a home inspector who can point out problems with a house. This outside security expert is someone who has the proper knowledge, tools, and knows the methodology to uncover the security challenges that you might otherwise have trouble seeing. This is the type of work that I do for my clients, and I found that many security problems come from the lack of clarity, that is, not being able to see the forest through the trees. The important thing is that you're doing something to uncover the risks associated with phishing. There's simply too much to lose otherwise, and All of this starts by asking the question, how? How do we know where we stand? How do we know that what we're doing with security is something that's both reasonable and defensible? Failure in terms of security is automatic. That's where things will end up unless you take action. Success, on the other hand, takes a lot of work, so don't wait. Understand your risks and do so starting today. You may not have the IT and security resources like many of the larger companies, but the reality is that security risks on your network right now can be exploited by a simple phishing attack. Your job is to acknowledge and resolve as many of those weaknesses as you can so that you're not caught off guard and end up having to explain to leadership why an incident or a breach was allowed to happen. I always recommend taking the Pareto principle approach. Find the 20% of the vulnerabilities that are creating 80% of your risks. It's always the low-hanging fruit. Looking at the security research that comes out each year, the big incidents and breaches are always brought about by something simple that could have been prevented. Your job is to be proactive so that you can prevent everything possible and know that if an attack does get through, you've done everything in your power to minimize the impact on your business. If you'd like more details on phishing and the steps that you can take to understand this and other security risks, as well as to contact me for more information, check out my website at principallogic.com. Thank you, and be on the lookout for more videos in the future.